It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Yes, the PGA second major of the year is underway. Got a little frosty there, though. We'll explain in a second. By the way, Tiger Woods was a winner today. He's not playing in this tournament. I'll explain in a minute. And the Eastern Conference Finals has some drama. It's Miami that now has home court advantage. Crazy night. Last night, all across the world of sports. So good to have you. We're going to weigh in on the PGA and really the story of Sean McKeel, because this is the 20th anniversary of what he did at Oak Hill in Rochester 20 years ago when he won his first and only golf tournament. It was a major. It has sparked conversation all over the place, including pieces by CBS and also an unbelievably good piece, sort of a sad piece kind of, by Rich Lerner last night on the Golf Channel. And we're going to talk about all of that with Phil Stukenberg, who has written a piece in the Daily Memphian about Sean McKeel and that event 20 years ago, and the story of the 7-iron from 150 some odd yards up the hill to within inches of the cup that got him the 2-stroke victory 20 years ago. I mentioned Tiger Woods a winner in his court case involving his ex-girlfriend, Erica Herman. The judge ruled in favor of Tiger over an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement that she signed when she first got romantically kind of involved with him. He had hired her to run his bar and grill. And they became romantically involved, and when they did, he had her sign a non-disclosure agreement. She claimed that was sexual harassment. The judge called those allegations vague and threadbare, and that any kind, because she sued him for $30 million, based on the sexual harassment, and also that would be what it would cost for her to live in a place like the one she lived in with Tiger on the ocean, that it would cost, because she had promised him apparently verbally 11 years of living in that place. It would cost her $30 million to live in that place. So that's why the suit is 11. All of those litigations have to go through an arbitrator in a private process, not to be made public. The NDA is in effect, so Tiger Woods gets the W, at least so far. All right, Miami got the W last night. Crazy. They were down in the early minutes of the third quarter. They were down by 12. And then they went on a big run. They ended up, after winning 123-116, what wins them the game is a 46-25 third quarter. The Boston Celtics at home gave up 46 points in the third quarter, 123 in the game at home. How does that happen?
Well, I think it's a bunch of different things. For one thing, the Heat were getting stops, and it's hard to defend a team that's getting stops because they're pushing it hard the other way, going the other direction. That was tough. You know, a lot of people have been critical of Joe Mazzulla. I've been really defensive of him, but I would say in the third quarter last night, he's not one that likes to call a lot of timeouts to stop runs.
Right. He likes to save them and then keep them in his pocket.
That would have been one I think I would have called a timeout.
I agree. I'm going to go a step further here, that I think he made a tactical error, and it was pointed out almost ad nauseum by Stan Van Gundy. You know, they like Stan Van Gundy so much, they've actually put him with the combination of Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller that I thought was a great tandem. I don't know, I like them as a trio. I think it saves ESPN with Bream, Jeff Van Gundy, and Mark Jackson. I think taking just the two, they're not as good as the three. I'm not sure the three here is as good as the two. However, the point he makes, and Reggie Miller agreed with him, and I do too. How in the world do you stop going to your star? I know everybody talks about how good a second player Jaylen Brown is, and he is. And maybe he should be on another team where he can be the star, because that point has been made. Same kind of argument people make about Jordan Poole, that he would be Steph Curry if he was in another place, and he can't be when he's at the Golden State Warriors. So the same thing is said about Jaylen Brown. But they say it because it's clear Jason Tatum is the best player on the team, and they stopped giving him the ball. I don't know how many touches he totally had in the fourth quarter, but he didn't have a lot. Not enough, that is for sure.
Yeah, I would actually point to, because they won the fourth quarter, but obviously they were down at that point and needed more.
Yeah, they won it by 5. But
yeah, but the third quarter for me, I thought the Celtics were just playing, for lack of a better term, selfish basketball. Like, they just weren't facilitating, they weren't getting to stuff, they were just kind of forcing the issue a lot. And I think maybe that's why Jason Tatum didn't shoot as much in the fourth quarter, because they certainly, and then Joe Mazzulla threw a clipboard, because they were forcing so much in the third quarter. And in the fourth quarter, they started to facilitate more. But like you said, Jason Tatum's needs shots. He did get to the free throw line a few times, but he didn't take a shot. And they were going out of their way to stop him. Like, really, every time there was any kind of action involving him, they would send 2 guys to him too. But I thought the third quarter, not going to timeout and just forcing too much on offense, they just gave the Heat the game with the 46 points in the third quarter, because they won every other quarter there except for the third one.
Yeah.
It had a tough game last night. But kind of like we said the day before, you look to the game as a whole, you stop a run in the third quarter, the Celtics dominated that basketball game. I felt that at least has to give you a good feeling moving forward.
Here's what I think. I don't think the series is by any means over.
Can't call it after one.
No, sir. You know, you got to win 4 games. I thought Kyle Lowry was really good on the post-game show.
Really good.
Where he goes, we're going to try to be as greedy as possible and win. You got to win 4. We're going to try to get the second one and not, rest on our laurels like we've stolen home court advantage. I still think when you look at the matchup that eventually, just like Boston lost at home in the last series, I think they're the better team, and I think they will end up getting Miami. But it's really going to be interesting now. And Jimmy Butler is just great. Jimmy Butler has delivered for Miami. I mean, this is a great story for anybody who looks at a guy that is like athletic but has not developed yet. Look at Jimmy Butler, because it took Jimmy Butler like almost his third year before he got off the bench in Chicago to become the player he is. So you can develop in the NBA, especially when you're young. We'll see. That is for sure. But now that's interesting. Game 2, of Denver and LA tonight. And, it's a must-win for Denver. I know they're up 1-0, but you got to keep home court advantage. I don't think they've lost at home yet. So here's the one thing about Denver that I kind of think that if you've been there 3 or 4 days, 5 days, whatever it is that LA's been there now, you get more acclimated to the altitude. So that little advantage that you might have, Denver, with fitness, because you're 5,280 feet, I mean, that definitely affects your ability to breathe. But you become acclimated to it. Some say it takes 2 weeks. I don't think it, especially when you're young. I lived in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, which is 7,300 feet at the base. And I think it takes a couple of days. But if LA got there early, which I think they did, now you're talking about 5 days. I think you're more acclimated. I don't think you'll have as bad a first quarter, LA, as you had in Game 1. We'll see. But the onus is still on Denver, because you want to keep home court advantage. I should remind everybody, coming up in a little bit after Phil Stukenborg, Russell Copeland, as always, will join us. We'll talk about the NFL schedule release. We will chat a little bit with him about the Showboats, because they got a big game, 11:30, early Saturday morning against the Pittsburgh Maulers. Many thought they were the worst team in the league going in. But you know what? They're not. They're 2-3, just like the Boats. And the Boats are only a game out of playoff contention. So that should be fun. And we'll chat with our friend Russell Copeland about all of that coming up at about 10:25, 10:30 or so. And I should point out, we're going to talk PGA here. It's underway now. And a guy that you've never heard of before, most likely. A Japanese player who is ranked 99th in the world. 99th in the world. His name is Kazuki Higa. He is in the lead at the PGA. He was 4 under. He just bogeyed number 8. He's 3 under, a 2-stroke lead on a bunch of players. So they had a frost delay today. And you have to understand, this is Rochester, New York, right? When they originally scheduled this PGA Championship, it was supposed to be played in August. It was the last major of the year. When they shifted everything around, now it's the second major of the year, and it's taking place in New York in mid-May, which gets a little dicey, which is why, with the frost warning, they had to back things up. The last tee time now of the day is 3:30. They'll be hard-pressed to get all of that in. Sean McKeel, last I looked, was 1 over par through 7. So not bad, because the best is 3 under at this point. And we are going to talk about Phil Stukenborg in just a minute. About Sean McKeel, he did a nice piece in the Daily Memphian, and he also was the subject of a piece by Rich Lerner of the Golf Channel that was really interesting and almost sad. We'll get into that in just a second. I'll let you know. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios where that vacation at home sale continues. If you mention this ad, if you buy a pool, a spa, even a play gym, which you need to have installed, installation is half off. So please mention Sports 56 when you go to see Family Leisure and the vacation at home sale. And our title sponsor is Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. That is where, if you're interested in a Genesis, we got a deal for you. Go see Vinny Gerard. He's the guy over all of the Genesis cars at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Not every Hyundai dealer gets to sell those Hyundais, but they do at the corner of Highway 78, Lamar, and the first exit in Mississippi Craft Road. If you want a G70, they'll give you a $1,000 rebate. If you agree to finance with Genesis, why wouldn't you? It's a fair rate, and you get $1,000 off. They are paying you to do business with them at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Phil Stukenberg is one of those rare individuals. I've never seen a guy who could write for the Commercial Appeal and the Daily Memphian at the same time, but our guy is doing it. How are you, Stukes?
I'm doing good. How are you, Dave?
I'm doing well. Good to chat with you, really. All right, so last night on the Golf Channel, they did a piece on Sean McKeel, and he was asked, are you an underdog kind of a guy, or were you an underachiever? And this was sort of sad to me, because he kind of grimaced when he was asked that question. And he looked over at Rich Lerner and he goes, definitely an underachiever. And then I got to tell you, Brandel Chambly, who's about as critical as any human being out there, and Paul McGinley, who is his cohort, who's a European Tour guy, now plays on the senior tour, they both go, no way. He won a major. And McGinley, who was a successful European Tour player, said, I won a bunch of events. I would give all of those up for the one major win. But you just did a piece on him. You've talked to him a bunch. I don't think he feels that good about himself. It's kind of crazy, Stukes.
You know it is, but you were around him like I have been and was during all the years he was playing, on the tour coming through Memphis. I think that's just kind of his personality. You also read things, and you've heard him say that to hit that shot at that stage in his career that led to the victory, that 7 irons to 2 inches.
Right.
You think you need to do it every week now. I mean, I think that's kind of how he's wired. But good gosh, those guys, I mean, when you look at success, yeah, it was only that one major, but he had 24 or 20 or so top 10 finishes. He beat Tiger Woods in a match play event.
Yeah, he sure did.
Years later, he finishes a run to him in the 06 PGA Championship. So if he just steps away, he's been quite successful.
Well, they also said this was interesting. He played behind Jack Nicklaus in his final either British Open championship or PGA championship. I can't remember which, but it was the last appearance at that particular venue for Jack Nicklaus at the end of his career. He played in the group behind him. He played, I think, in Seve Ballesteros' last professional event. Played with them in the group. So you're talking about the greatest of all time that he got to play with. He certainly made a lot of money. He made $1 million when $1 million was like $8 million now, right?
Yeah.
When he won that PGA. But there is that thing, and he said this, which really I thought was interesting last night. He goes, if you win one, they expect you to win two. If you win two, why shouldn't you win 5, maybe 10? And so for him, and I'll be honest with you, Stooks, you mentioned we got to know him. I knew him. I was doing a golf show with Goose Munguia. This is way back when Sean McKeel was the Big Ten Player of the Year at Indiana. And we did a feature on him. And so he expected to win a lot of events on the PGA Tour. And to only win one, even though it was a major with one of the more famous shots ever, it's just, I think he expected more and can't seem to get over it.
I mean, if you were on tour, you would take that career.
Yeah. No,
you know,
I'm telling you, these guys like McGinley and Chambly were going, we'd give up a lot to have a major and to also have been the producer of a shot. You know, there's a plaque at the spot where he hit that 7-iron. And there's a lot of, I think I read it in your story, where there's a lot of divots around that.
Yeah.
Because everybody tries that shot. It's a little like if you ever play Augusta, not that I have. You try the Bubba Watson shot and you try that chip on 16 where Tiger Woods, hit that and Vern Lundquist says, "Did you ever in your life?"
Oh, yeah. So and he talked about how much that meant for people to still talk about that, for people to call it one of the most iconic shots in a major championship, especially the PGA. So those are nice moments for him to reminisce. I think what I really like, Dave, is that this week he's up there, with his son, his 19-year-old son.
Right.
And for his son to just kind of be able to experience just seeing his father awash in adulation for that time, that's got to be great for Sean as much as it is for his son Gabe.
I agree with that. He's got a daughter too, and I know she's like into theater, and they're all older kids. That son, who's now 19, was in his wife's belly.
Yes.
And he kissed that belly after he won that tournament. That's one of the things that I always remember about that. I like Sean McKeel so much. I just hope he has inner peace, which, I'm not sure he truly does.
Again, there's going to come a point when he'll reflect, I believe. And when you look at, to me, Dave, all the work he did with Make-A-Wish Foundation, I mean, he did that for 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
He raised millions of dollars, granted hundreds of wishes. I mean, that's an incredible achievement in its own right. I think he took that over from John Daly.
He did.
Right after he won the PGA. So yeah. So those are some other moments he should reflect on.
What do you think? His, where he's at now. How is he? He's not eligible, which is unfortunate. It used to be that if you won a major, you got eligibility on the senior tour, and that no longer is the case. And I think he missed it by a year. It's really unfortunate. So he doesn't have eligibility there. I think I read in your piece he's now a coach or an assistant coach at a college out of town. What's he doing now?
Yeah, a friend of his from Butler, the coach there, called him up, and he just finished his first season as a kind of a long distance assistant coach. He makes trips there. He's not obviously living in Indianapolis, but he says he really, I think, believe it or not, in the long run that could help too. I think that for him to be able to work with these players and know that they're going through some of the same things that he did as a player. He did say something funny that his first event, he didn't know whether to go talk to the kid, the player, or let him work it out. He was just trying to kind of figure out each of these golfers. But I think that intrigued him on how to make a player better, and I think he's going to come back for a second season.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, one of the things that Paul McGinley was pointing out, and I think he wanted Sean McKeel to hear this, but when McGinley first got on the tour, he was playing in a tournament with Jack Nicklaus, and he'd asked Jack Nicklaus's son, because he had a relationship with Gary Nicklaus, if they could go to dinner. And Gary goes, "Come on, are you kidding me? My dad's busy, man." Yeah. So he didn't expect to play. And then on a Friday night, he gets a call, and Jack Nicklaus did not make the cut. McGinley did. And Gary Nicklaus says, "My dad says, come on, join us for dinner." So they go there. And at the end of the night, they talked till 1 o'clock in the morning because Jack had some wine. He wasn't playing the next day, right? And he says to him, "Good luck to you, and just remember this. I'm one of the greatest golfers of all time. I only won 10% of the time. Keep that in mind." And that, I think, is what Sean McKeel needs to hear, too. You won a major. You got a place in history in the game you love. I know you wanted more, but that should make you feel pretty good. There's a lot of guys out there that have won multiple events that would like to be in Sean McKeel's footsteps.
Yeah, and he's got a portion of the Ridgeway Country Club road named after him, right?
Yeah. I think he's got membership to every club that in Memphis if he wants it. That is the truth. Stokes, I love reading you still. I hope you keep working for both of them. You're amazing. And we'll see each other down the road sometime soon.
Right, Dave. Thanks.
Thank you. That is Phil Stukenberg from, I don't know where he's from. Commercial Appeal was at SID at Memphis, Daily Memphian. He does it all. So does Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric, and the home of the famous 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up. And they're saying, look, you got to do it when it gets hot. You don't want a costly breakdown in the middle of summer and your house is hot and your kids, they can't stand it. You got to think about going to a hotel. Avoid that at any cost, very simply, by getting the tune-up. It's $69. That's insurance. They come inside and they tune up 16 points. Then they go outside and clean up everything, and your system's efficient, saves you money on your energy bill. Best part is it'll make your system last longer. 384-3511, that's the number for Conway. And this portion of the show brought to you by Grind City. I got to go play golf with the master brewer at Grind City and another one of the fellas that works there. What a place. They've got new beers coming all the time from Grind City. Now, this began as a dream of a father and a son, and man, have they made it work. If you haven't been to the brewery downtown on the river, just north of downtown, it's spectacular. Cool place, great outside lawn where you look at the bridge, kind of see the river, and just let life go by drinking a beer. And the beers are incredible. I love Poppy's Pilsner. I love the Tiger Tail. That's the craft malt liquor. But I'm serious now. They got a new kind of a Blue Moonish thing that they're doing, a wheat ale. They've got a new Belgian thing. It's really, they're always cutting edge. I heard something about a Pilsner with jalapenos they're trying to develop. They're always doing something, and it's pure local. You can find it in all of the Memphis spirit shops. We're talking the great folks at Grind City. Back in a minute, Russell Copeland on the NFL and the USFL. He comes your way next.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Give me liberty and give me real estate.
I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and that was Hugh Mallory. Not only does he work with me at Marks Benstorff Realtors, he is the president of this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl. So you, instead of sounding like Patrick Henry, what do you mean?
Well, Sheldon, like you, I sell real estate, and I'm also privileged to serve as president of the 65th AutoZone Liberty Bowl. I'm able to handle all my clients, whether they're buying or selling, while participating in this great annual tradition.
Hugh, that is definitely quite an honor. And with your fabulous track record in real estate sales, I know you'll do a great job. And I am so looking forward to the Liberty Bowl Golf Classic on Monday, June 5th.
For you, it's a moving target. I wouldn't mark my calendar just yet. Your reputation as the worst golfer in Memphis precedes you.
That may be true, but You Will Move You is something to remember, and you can reach Hugh at 497-9756. Just like it's why people often say that when you want the job done, call Shell Dunn. You can reach me, Shell Dunn, at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
Get ready to command the road in a new ride from Gossett Kia on the Pike. Go the road less traveled in 2023 Kia Seltos LX. $263 a month, $29.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sportage LX, $288 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 2023 World Performance Car, 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. EPA estimated range 310 miles, $499 a month, $49.99 due at signing, all 36-month leases. Plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Seltos P745, 8378, MSRP 23996. Sportage P7173696, MSRP 27077. EV6 P5105073, MSRP 49965. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on a license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters. Looking for a new lawnmower? Golf Cars of Hernando has the Gravely line of zero-turn lawnmowers in stock, and they work on them. Looking for a new golf cart? Golf Cars of Hernando has Yamaha and Star brands of golf carts in stock, and they also service most makes and models of golf cars. Financing is available with applicable credit at Golf Cars of Hernando. Call today, 662-429-1566, 662-429-1566. Golf Cars of Hernando. Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Couple of interesting college basketball notes. Former North Carolina guard Caleb Love, who you know had committed to Michigan, he decommitted to Michigan. Back in the portal, I didn't think you could get back in, though. That's the interesting thing to me. I thought it closed last Thursday, so I don't understand how that works, but apparently he's back in, and who knows if Penny's not chatting with him. And Nia Morant, the sister of Ja, has committed to play at Mississippi Valley State. She chose to do that last night, so congratulations to the younger Morant. We're going to talk NFL schedule release and the showboats with our friend Russell Copeland in 1 second. He's brought to you by Matt Eflin, the Eflin Insurance Team. You know all about Matt by now. He's a big Tiger supporter. In fact, such a Tiger supporter that he will, in his phone number, tell you how much he loves the Tigers because he puts GUR in there. The number's 386-GUR. That's 4777. And he says, look, I do insurance a little differently. I'm going to get to know you if I'm going to give you life insurance, or I'll know about your house when I do your mortgage insurance, or if you need a car, different kinds of insurance for youngsters than it would be for older people. He gets to know you and then protects you. Finds out your budget, picks out the perfect way to go. Same thing with commercial insurance. If you've got a small to mid-sized business, that's the specialty. You'll get to know your product, your personnel, what your budget is, and then protect your business. Again, 386-4777. That's the Eflin Insurance Team. Russell Copeland joins us now. Last week, the NFL does it right. This is why we have to have you on year-round. They always stay in the headlines. So they did their schedule release. To me, the best part of that whole thing was we learned that the first game Aaron Rodgers will play as a New York Jet, Russell, is against your old team, the Buffalo Bills. That's a great way to start it, Allen versus Rodgers.
It definitely is, David. It's no better way to kick off that weekend, the 2023 season, than with the newly acquired future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, and they host the Bills, who are the three-time defending AFC East champions, and Josh Allen. And when you look at that Jets defense, they have given Josh Allen and the offense a lot of troubles. Now you have Aaron Rodgers. You have a lot of new acquisitions offensively. So this should be a really good game, and it's going to be an early test for everyone, because I know New York City, they're going to be very excited about Aaron Rodgers. And I think when you look at the Buffalo Bills, it's a measuring stick early on to see how this football team can get out to a great start. And when you look at the AFC East, it is really tough in that division.
Yeah. All right. I want to switch so I can spend a little time with you on the Showboats. Folks, you can listen to Russell with Eli Savoy on the broadcast of the Showboats. They've won 2 in a row. They're only a game out of the playoffs right now. What the heck is going on? How have they turned around their season? Have they saved their season?
They definitely have. And first and foremost, Dave, I think this is a very resilient bunch. I think Todd Haley and his coaching staff have done a really tremendous job of getting the players ready to play. And I think when you look at Birmingham, Birmingham is one of those games where you look at it's a stinker game. Throw it to the side, 2-42. Nothing went right. But you look at the first game, 23-27 with Philadelphia. They played a Houston Gamblers football team that Houston won in the last seconds, 26-30. And they were able to go on the road and beat a very good Michigan Panthers football team 29-10. And at that time, they were 2-1. What has happened for me, I think they're playing really good football on all three phases. The past couple of weeks, special teams have kicked field goals over 50 yards. You had a kickoff return nearly 60 yards, not missing field goals. And I think defensively, this is a football team that went on the road against Michigan, 0-3 at the time, only had 1 turnover. Since then, the past couple of games, they've been able to get 7 turnovers, being negative in the turnover ratio. Now they are +1. I think they have something to do with it. And offensively, not turning the football over. And I just really love the way Cole Kelly has taken command of the offense. He's making the right decisions. He understands what defenses are trying to do, and he's very decisive. And I think when you put all three of those things together, especially the turnover ratio, getting better on third down, that's why this football team now has won with their defense, got one of the top defenses in the USFL.
Cole Kelly is clearly beating out Brady White. Is that the case?
Well, I mean, you have to say yes. I think at the point in time when you're losing, you're 0-2, everything is not going to be on the quarterback. But when you do bring a quarterback in and you be able to get a fire and you be able to start winning games and that quarterback is really not making mistakes, you have to go with the hot hand. I don't think it's really anything that Brady White did wrong. The team is winning, and he did make some plays that weren't good. Cole Kelly has taken the team. They're winning, so you have to stay with the hot hand.
The offensive line, I listened at Rotary. By the way, were your ears burning on Tuesday when Dave Rosano mentioned what a great player that you were? He had graded you as, I think, the highest receiver in your draft class over Isaac Bruce. He said now, but he had seen you because, of course, he's the GM of the team you're announcing. And he said, you look like a linebacker now. What happened?
Hey, well, look, it's 30 years. A lot of 30 years. I think I'm weighing now like 240. I weighed like 215.
That's not bad. By the way, you look fit. I'm just kidding you.
Hey, appreciate it. But look, that's really some high praise, and I'm very thankful for that. Isaac and I really had some good times playing together, but that's really some high praise, and I really appreciate that.
Well, he was talking about, besides you, finding offensive linemen. That is their biggest need. Do you concur? Is that the biggest issue with the offense?
Hey, I mean, it definitely is, David. It doesn't matter, what level of football you're talking about, high school, college or professional. You have to be able to have studs up front, offensive line and defensive line, and they are a hard commodity to come against. And I think he has done a tremendous job of bringing players in on both sides of the football. But the thing is, you only have 4 moves of the entire season, so you have to be careful who you bring in. And I think keeping offensive linemen healthy is a big issue because you not only have to be able to pass block, but you have to be able to get guys that can move, that can get to the next level. And I think a little bit with that offensive line, having a little bit of difficulty getting to the next level, being able to open holes for the running game. But what Bob Saunders has been able to do is to be able to throw the football on first down, quick passes. He's running a lot of misdirections, running some reverses, and just getting the football out of Cole Kelly's head on first down. And that has helped the lack of running the football on first and second down.
Well, also hurting the lack of running was the injury to your top running back who had NFL experience, a kid from Arkansas, Alex Collins. What's his status? I know he was injured. How long is he out for, and have they got a guy that's filling in?
I think the rules are once you get put on IR, you have to miss 5 games, so that will put him right at the last couple of games. Don't really know if his status is he's going to be able to come back, but I think Florida Atlantic's running back Carrot White, I think he's done a tremendous job. He was in camp with them earlier, had got released and came back. He's a slithery type of back, comes out of the backfield, can be able to take it the distance, and he's the type of guy. If you can just give him a little hole, he has definitely showed a spark plug. He's one of the players that had a long return, 57 yards to open that game up on the road against Detroit. So his replacement is doing very well.
So Saturday morning, it's early, 11:30 at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. The Showboats are going to take on the Pittsburgh Maulers, who are 2-3. They apparently have a pretty good defense. They've allowed the least amount of points of anybody in the North Division, actually anybody in the league. Now that I look at it, everybody in the North Division is 2-3. You know, that's exactly what Pete Rozelle was looking for in the NFL, where on any given Sunday a team could beat another team, and that's what's going on in the North. Everybody's 2-3, including the Maulers. It's interesting in the South. That's the Boats division. They're 2-3. I mentioned they're a game out, but the Breakers, who the Grizzlies beat, have who the Boats beat. The Breakers are 4-1. They were undefeated until the Boats beat them. Then you got the Gamblers that share the stadium, and the Stallions, the Birmingham Stallions. They're both 3-2. So this thing is just absolutely wide open. It's incredible.
It definitely is. It's coming down, Dave, to a week-to-week league. And talking again about the Showboats, you talked about New Orleans. They were undefeated, and this is a football team that went on the road. And offensively, this is a team that was averaging 31 points. You talk about New Orleans. They held them to 10 points. They had the top pass catcher, they had the top receiver, and they had the top passer. And holding them to 10 points is a tremendous job this defense is doing. But I tell you what, this weekend is going to be one of those black and blue type of games. You remember the old games with Memphis State going against Southern Miss? It's going to be one of those type of games. In the National Football League, you look at the Baltimore Ravens going against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a black and blue type of game. This will be a defensive game, a lot of hard hitting. And I think whichever football team that can not turn the football over and give the offenses more possessions and get in the short side of the field, I think that's the team that will be victorious. But you're going to have to be able to protect the football, and you're going to have to be able to run as well.
You know, it's obviously heartening that you go on the road and you beat the Breakers. To get to 2-3 and back in the race. So it makes me wonder, Birmingham is 3-2, yet the one win they had against Memphis, what was that, 42 or 44-2? It was pretty darn dominant. Is Birmingham the best team you've seen? What do you think ends up happening in down the stretch?
You know, like I said, Dave, I think it is a week-to-week league. I think Houston is playing very well now. But when you look at this Memphis Showboats football team, they're getting healthy on defense. I think the defense now understands what defensive coordinator Cardinal Lake is doing. And I just talked about it. When you've gotten 7 turnovers in the past couple of games, you went on the road and played against an undefeated football team, and you held them to 10 points. That's averaging 31 points. I think that shows a lot about your defense. Birmingham, A lot of guys were hurt. A lot of guys were injured. Those guys have now been healthy. Birmingham is not the same football team that this Showboats team lost 2-42. This is a different Memphis Showboats football team. And I think if everyone can come out and see it, it's a really good brand of football. A lot of guys have played in the National Football League. It's going to be both teams. That's each and every week. High-quality football. You really got a lot of coaches that are coaching that have played in the that have coached in the National Football League for numerous years. It's going to be a really good atmosphere this weekend. So hopefully everyone can come out early on and catch this game.
Who wins?
I think the Showboats win in a very close game. Very close game, but I think the Showboats win. Give me one of those games where it might be 13-10 type of football game.
Right. And the kicker, by the way, who had almost been cut, like they were going to cut him, he came back and hit 2 50-plus yard field goals and a 38-yarder. Apparently he's okay. It was a mental thing. He's always had the leg.
Hey, competition breeds success. I say it all the time, but Alex Kessman has done a tremendous job. Actually, he's kicked 3 field goals over 50. He had 2 in Detroit, and he had 1 50-yarder last weekend. So he's done a tremendous job. And I tell you what, kickers are kind of like shooting free throws in the NBA. You kind of get in a funk a little bit, and once you start hitting a couple, then they start going down. I think kickers are the same way. He's got a lot of confidence, and how he's kicking the football, he may be the difference in this football game this weekend.
Russell Copeland on the NFL, and of course now the USFL and the Showboats. You can listen to him and Eli Saturday morning. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Dave.
That is Russell Copeland, brought to you by Miramichi. Oh, what a day, what a weekend it's going to be. Could be the last time we got this kind of beautiful low humidity weather. Get out and enjoy one of the most beautiful golf courses in our area. Of course, it's Miramichi. And by the way, Cheryl Pardue, their GM, who does such a great job, she is telling me she's still got a couple of memberships. It's $300 a month for all the golf you can play. Free cart. Use of their facilities. They got the best practice facilities. I mean, better than most country clubs. And they got unlimited driving range privileges. And you've got your own little, by the way, area that they really keep up for the members to hit. Their own private range. You can't beat it. And again, unlimited golf balls. Unlimited golf, $300 a month. Go see Cheryl Pardue. And really enjoy the beauty of Miramichi, because that is exactly what it is. It is, especially the back nine, a walk in the forest with a meandering creek and a waterfall. You can't beat it. In Woodstock, just 12 minutes north of downtown, the great Miramichi. Jarvis Greer. He comes your way in just a minute.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Saturday, May 20th is Family Day when the Maulers go head-to-head with your Showboats.
We can't wait to have you for the USFL.
So bring the whole family to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium to meet the mascots and get a free foam football while supplies last.
Touchdown, J.J. Wilson.
Fantastic seats get you right next to the action for just $10.
And the Showboats chug right back into this game.
Buy your tickets today at theusfl.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Get ready to command the road in a new ride from Gossett Kia on the Pike. Go the road less traveled in 2023 Kia Seltos LX. $263 a month, $29.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sportage LX, $288 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 2023 World Performance Car, 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. EPA estimated range 310 miles, $499 a month, $49.99 due at signing, all 36-month leases. Plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor cars.
650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Seltos P745, 8378, MSRP 23,996. Sportage P71, 73696, MSRP 27077. EV6 P510573, MSRP 49,965. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on the license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Hey Memphis football fans, it's head coach Ryan Silverfield. We need you to commit to Memphis football today by purchasing season tickets. They start at just $99. Bring the entire family and come watch the 901's football team in action. Our players always talk about the support of Tiger Nation, and you truly make a difference each and every game when we run out of that tunnel. We want to see you at Memphis football game this year. Go Tigers, go.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Time to catch up with the busiest retired man in all of show business. That would be Jarvis Greer, who I got to see at the Rotary Lunch this past week with Dave Rosano, the GM of the Grizz, giving a speech. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was great, Dave. And Rosano, of course, he's been around the NFL for like 25 years. He's got 3 Super Bowl rings, 2 with San Francisco. And,
Bill Walsh's San Francisco 49ers.
That's correct. Yeah, that is correct. And also has got one with the greatest show on turf, St. Louis Rams, Isaac Bruce.
Right. You know who else? He also coached or was involved with, I think, John Gruden. Might have been with the Raiders before what happened to Gruden. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, he's been around the league. He was with the Colts for a while, too, when Peyton Manning was there, and also the Arizona Cardinals. So he knows his way around the front offices. And so far, other than getting off to a slow start, looks like he's putting some good people on the field for the Showboat.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the game we just had Russell on is an early one. On Saturday, I'm looking forward to checking that out as the boats try to stay in the race. All right,
come on, you got to get that one right because your nickname is Boat. So, Boat Woloshin from back in the day.
I did say Boat, didn't I? Or did I say Grizz?
You said Grizz the first time.
Well, you know.
Which I'm also affiliated with.
Well, that's why I was thinking about it. I mean, you're now Grind City, and that's where I'm going with this. I mean, everybody's talking. Yeah. It's the Ja thing. Give me your take about it.
Oh, my take. Okay. First of all, just stop doing dumb things. What I really think, it was 2.5 months since, the first incident in the meeting with Commissioner Adam Silver. Say, yep. I promise I'll do better. I'll work on it. So they go through the end of the season, through the playoffs, and a few weeks into the off season, a couple of weeks into the off season, and he's out with his boys, bumping to, NBA young boy, and I think that's more or less habit, going around, bouncing with your boys, and that's kind of what you do. And unfortunately, they got to learn how to not record everything. That's the problem with a lot of young people now. They want to put everything, they want to post it all, and they want to do it all live on Instagram, and it's just, So it's like, whoops, you did that, you forgot yourself. And it makes you look like you're going back on your word. I do not think he was trying to give a middle finger to the NBA or to the commissioner or to the team. I do not think that was done with malice, like, look, watch me, I'll do what I want.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I just think, he was out, wilding with his fellas and got caught. So, they'll, as far as the punishment is concerned, now, if people say, there's a lot of people that half the year, give him 41 games, it should be gone and all that. He's got the rest of the league to think about, the commissioner does, and this is collective bargaining. So he's going to talk with the reps from the Players Association.
He'll talk to the union.
Before they hand this down. Yeah.
He'll talk to the union president, who I forget that is. It's interesting. The player, the player's vice president, and the Grizzlies rep is Jaren Jackson Jr.
Sure. Yeah, Jaren Jackson Jr. So,
based on what the commissioner said, and I'm expecting the worst. Is that had nothing to do with the punishment. That was, he was talking about the investigation still going on. When he said, I'm assuming the worst, is the word he used. That was that he did have the gun. And it's pretty clear in the pictures I've seen, he did have a gun.
And I think this investigation is them talking to the league. I mean, to the Players Association, to the union.
That could be. I think it'll be somewhere between 20 and 25 based on some precedent. And the fact that I think the commissioner's really upset. And I think there are other teams that are upset. That and it goes back to this culture, and I've mentioned this before. And I think the one big thing that everybody is not doing here, they're talking about being shocked and how could he do it. The question is, why did he do this? And this was my take. You can give me what you think of it. There is a subculture that really is based on lawlessness. I mean, it is glamorizing guns and the power of guns, not for protection, but the glamour of the power of the gun.
It's like an accessory.
It includes speeding on highways and scaring the heck out of people. It includes stealing cars or breaking into cars. It's just this thing. It's lawlessness that is being glamorized as a good thing. And I don't know why, but it seems to me, and I'm not saying he embraces all of this culture, but I think he wants to be accepted in this culture. And that's part of the reason why he does these things. I do think he was either inebriated too much or it was just a mistake that this thing got on camera again. But it appears to me that he wants to be included in this culture, and it means something to him. And I don't know why. That's to me a critical part of this.
Well, you know that old saying, Dave, youth is wasted on the young. It's like, well, this is an example. You know, what your 20-year-old, 23-year-old, 25-year-old brain is much different than your 35-year-old brain. Things that we wouldn't even think about doing now that we're a little bit older. Say, or you know, we're both like got 1 foot in. You know, you were just all in to do it when you were younger, just running around. And here's another take. You know, 5 years ago, Ja was a no-star recruit coming out of high school, Sumter, South Carolina. 2 years later, he's the number 2 pick in the NBA draft. Then he's the rookie of the year. Then he's making all-star team. Then he's signing a $194 million contract. And it's like, hey, you know, I'm it now. You know what I mean? I'm the shiz, to put it that way. And I can pretty much, hey, if you take $39 million from me, I got $190 million in the bank. You know, you're not thinking about it like, doggone it. You know, this is my reputation. You're just seeing right in front of you. You're not seeing any farther than your boys you run with. Or who you want to run with and the image you want to portray, because, you know, that's fun and you're having a good time and all that stuff. And, you know, he could go and do anything he wants with his fellas and, you know, rent out a club and do all that stuff 10 times over, 10 times, 100 times a year and still have generational wealth. So, you know, he's not thinking about it that way. It hit him really, really fast and the whole family, you know, and nobody's used to that. Because, you know, you take LeBron as an example. LeBron was the chosen one since he was in middle school. He was being groomed and being, you know, touted as all this and that, you know, from a very, very young age. Unfortunately for him, he had the right people around him and he had the right mindset himself to not let it go to his head. Then you look right here at University of Memphis, a couple of seasons ago, Imani Bates. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. As a sophomore in high school, as the next big thing, and yeah, he's got a lot of talent, but you know his body hadn't formed yet, so his brain is, you know, not really there yet either. And you know, people mature at different rates, and when you throw a whole bunch, Justin Bieber, I've been trying to think of that name forever because my daughter-in-law is from Winnipeg, and that's where he's from. You know, he had all this. You know, he hit it big as a star in another genre in the music field and got all crazy and his dad wants to run with him like he's one of his boys, and next thing you know he's getting, you know, problems with drugs and alcohol and all kind of stuff. because that money hits you hard. Who knows how it's going to affect, some people, especially when it hits you at a young age, at a very young age.
Well,
so it's really tough watching people grow up.
Well, he's going to have
tough for us. It's even tougher for him.
He's going to have to figure it out because it's on him. I mean, this
is one thing he definitely has to figure out. That is correct.
Yep.
He's got to see which way he wants to go.
And here's what the Grizz have to figure out. Whatever that suspension is going to be, I hope it comes quick so they can figure out whether or not they're going to give up Tyus Jones to try to fill in the Dylan Brooks piece. Because if he's going to be out for a quarter of the year, 20 games, I don't think you want to give that up.
I'm thinking that the commissioner's going to make his decision like right before the start of the finals. That's when he's got to give his state of the league address and all that stuff. He'll probably hand it down sometime around then. And I was thinking originally before all this, we had the commissioner interview. I was thinking 15 to 20. I'm not going to go much more than 20, 25 because the precedent in the league as far as for 25 game suspension, that's the malice in the palace kind of stuff. That's what they handed Meta World Peace, for the big fight in Detroit, Indiana, and that got all up in the stand. That's been for breaking the law, for drugs, for domestic abuse, PED, and that kind of stuff. Those are the ones that get the 20, 25 game suspension. Gilbert Arenas,
he got 50. That to me,
he got the big one.
But he brought a gun to the stadium. This was
that is correct.
This one's different. That's why I think it'll be 20 to 25. Half of that is what I figure will probably be the
he
case.
had 8 games the first time. If you double that, that's 16. If you triple it, it's 24. Then tripling because the commissioner said we thought 8 games was really, really stiff. So if you triple it, that's 24 games.
So is that the official Jarvis prediction? 24 games.
I'm still saying between 15 and 20. Because when you get down looking at precedent again from people in the past that have gotten 15 game suspensions, that's still for something to do with breaking the law.
I'm going to really quickly and sum this up. I'm going to go 20 to 25. The 24 is a nice number because of the triple. Because the commissioner, I think, was really disappointed. And the word I keep hearing is that teams around the league are very concerned because of this glamorizing of guns. And you've got to stop that. Yeah, the owners. Exactly. Yeah. And you know who the owners are? They're David. They're Adam Silver's boss. They still are.
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah. Thank you, Jarvo. As always, we appreciate it. I'll see you, I guess, Saturday morning early.
We'll see you Saturday, 11:30, Showboats and the Pittsburgh Mauler.
You got
Showboats on a roll here, looking pretty good. You might want to get out there and get your ticket. Only $10.
There you go.
At TheUSFL.com.
Oh, he's an ambassador. That's part of his job. He's got to end.
Yeah, I got to get it. I got to get it in, Dave.
Well, I'm making sure. That's the way I pay you for this thing.
Yeah, you pay me big, so I got to make sure I get it on there. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Jarvo.
Looking for that check. I'll be standing by the mailbox.
All right. Bye-bye. It could get cold or hot now. This final portion has been brought to you by Ken Garland. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. 70 years of a Ken Garland in this market building beautiful homes. I really invite everybody always go to kengarland.com and see what Ken, his dad before him, what they're all about. They have built these beautiful palaces all throughout the Memphis Metroplex. Once you've done that, call them. Like maybe you want a renovation. You don't want to leave your beautiful home, but you want modern amenities. Nobody does renovation with innovation better than Ken Garland. Maybe you're in need of land. He's got it. Or maybe it's a problem. You've got land, but you're not sure how to utilize it to its utmost. He'll maximize it. He's got the knowledge. He's incredible. 751-1632. He sees little details and the big picture all at once, and he works with his clients to ensure they get exactly what they should expect on time, on budget. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Tomorrow, Andy Schiffman on the NBA. Brian, take us on what's going on in the portal. Updates on the PGA. Will be busy on a Friday. We'll see you then. Have a great day, everybody. Johnny Radio's next. Homer Skelton